Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and today I'm going to share with you my Casing Tuesday card. And just for those of you who don't know, who may be seeing my videos for the very first time, every Tuesday I make a card out of the catalog, and I give it a makeover. And we have a Facebook group for that where there's a bunch of us who will recreate a card every single week. And every week we choose a card and we focus on that one card for the week. So let me just briefly share the card for the week. This is our card today. It's so cute, the little elephants. I do not have this bundle yet. There are so many new bundles in the catalog. I had to start somewhere. I think I'll be eventually getting this one. It is adorable. But I want to show you how you can use this layout today to make lots of different cards. If you want to look up this card and you have the catalog, the new annual catalogs on page 162. And then we have a layout. Ooh, what am I doing here? Okay, let me find, okay, right here. Okay, there is the layout for this card. So this will give you some base measurements, especially if you're new to stamping. You kind of will want to maybe cut all of these pieces out, and so you can lay them out and see how big they need to be, and then you can find stamps to plug into that, maybe that centerpiece, find some paper. This will give you kind of a great starting point. And what I love about this challenge is that every week, no matter if you are an experienced stamper like myself or if you're a new stamper, you can participate in this challenge. And it is for all of us because it will give beginners a starting point, and it will give people like myself that have been stamping for a while a challenge, because I am not the only one that picks the cards. We have a group of us, and each of us pick those cards. So today's choice was not mine. So it's always fun to see what I can come up with. Now, I kind of am dedicating this card today to my dad. And he passed away about a year and a half ago, and May is his birthday month. And so I've been thinking about him a lot. And originally, the bundle that I'm using today, it's called the Let's Set Sail bundle. It consists of this stamp set and punch. And originally, I didn't get it. I kind of like just kept pushing away from it in the catalog because my dad loved to sail. And every time I saw it, I was like, "Ah, I love that, but I want to make a card for him with that, and I can't. So anyway, I decided to get it anyway because it's a very inspirational set. And you're probably wondering now, inspirational? She's crying. I love the greetings in this set. Let your dreams set sail, adventure it waits. Hope it's your best day ever. And actually, I think that really speaks to my dad because I, of course, grew up with my dad, and he was a man of few words. He could talk about a lot of different topics about what was going on in the neighborhood or the city, but we didn't spend a lot of time chatting because he worked really, really hard. And so I didn't know about his dreams or what he was passionate about. And when I went off to university, my dad bought a sailboat. And I had no clue that he even liked sailboats, that he liked the water, that he wanted to sail. But when he turned 50, he bought a sailboat. And for the rest of, well, most of the rest of his life, he sailed on Lake Okanagan in British Columbia. And he loved to sail and he loved to race his sailboat. And he was quite good at it. Whatever my dad put his mind to, he really excelled at because he wanted to do a good job. So he really, really loved sailing. And so today this card is dedicated to him. and his dreams and his passions. And I hope that we all have a dream or a passion that we can pursue that will make us happy, outside of our work or with our work, because that's so important in life to have like a passion. And one of my passions is stamping. And so I'm hoping today's card will make you happy. Which is kind of funny since I'm crying. But anyway, this is it is truly a great stamp set, and I'm going to be using the New Horizons paper, and this paper is going to be retiring very soon. It's this gorgeous, gorgeous paper. It's got all these patterns, and look, it matches my shirt today too. This paper will be retiring at the end of this month, and then it will be on Wall Supply basis. So if you like this paper, if you have this paper and you want to get some more, please get it before it runs out. It was just a fabulous background landscape paper, and I'll show you today. I have 2 cards made, and I have one card I'm making out of a different pattern, so you can see how this is so adaptable. I'm going to be sharing how you can cut your paper to make it look the best for the card I'm making. And I'm going to share with you 2 ways to do the stamping of the sailboat to make it easier for you. So I'm going to share all those things. And so I'm going to switch over my camera and we will get started. All right. So I already told you about the Let's Set Sail bundle. And of course, when you buy these 2 together, you can save 10%. And that's the way I usually get punch bundles. I buy them both at the same time. And I told you about the New Horizons paper. So let's have a look at my cards. They're so beautiful, aren't they? Like, look at that sky. It is just gorgeous, right? And here's another one I made. And basically what I did was I looked at the paper and I pulled colors out of the paper for the backdrop. And then I used a slightly lighter paper for the panel, for the banner. And then I layered this up on white to give it a little bit of a pop. Stamped some, the greeting on there, made the sailboat, and it's just really beautiful. Not super hard to do, but there are some tips and tricks that will make it easier for you. So I'm going to share with you one more card because we're going to make it out of a different pattern. So I'm going to be using this pattern of paper here. Okay. And one of the things that you want to do, have you ever heard of the rule of thirds? They use it in photography a lot. So when you're creating a photograph or photographing something, they like to put the horizon in either the bottom third or the top third of a picture because it makes it look better rather than having the horizon in the dead center. It just is visually more appealing to have it in one of the third, either in the bottom third or the top third. So I'm going to be doing that when I cut my paper as well. So let me just, I'm going to pull up in the background my measurements. There's a bunch of measurements today that are, okay. So this piece of paper, we are going to cut it to 4 and 5/8 by 3 3/8. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my horizon. It's going to be in the bottom third. So I want to put, this is going to be my horizon right here. So I'm going to kind of put that right along the 1 inch mark, maybe a little bit closer to 1 1/8 inches. And then I'm going to, let's see. Okay. So I'm just kind of seeing where this is, and it's going to be at the 1 1/8 inch mark because it's 3 3/8. So I'm going to cut off this bottom strip. I can use this for something else. Okay, and so now I'm going to cut at the 3 3/8 inch mark. So I'll just find it over here and cut. All right, so we've kind of got the horizon down towards the bottom third. And then we're going to cut it to 4 5/8 inches. 4 5/8, like that. All right, so there is our little piece of a beautiful kind of a sky. I don't know what it is. It just is a beautiful horizon. So I'm going to take one of our new ink colors, Starry Sky, and I'm going to use this greeting, "Let your dreams set sail." This is so appropriate for my dad because really, truly, he let his dreams set sail, literally and figuratively. So Starry Sky looks really nice with this paper. And then I'm going to use, there was a little bird stamp that also came with this set. And I'm just going to pop these off in the corner right here. Okay. So we've got those two. That's all the stamping that I'm going to do on the paper. And the sailboat is going to be stamped and punched out. So I'm going to mount this piece onto a piece of paper. This measures 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. And I'll just take some glue. And add this on here. Okay. This really does match my shirt. I'll have to hold it up afterwards and you're going to see how closely it matches my shirt. All right, and I've created a card base. This card base measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it in half at the 4 1/4 inch mark. And then I'm just going to fold it like this using my bone folder. Okay, and we need a banner piece to come across here. And I thought we would pull out some purple out of here, so just a slightly lighter piece. So this piece measures 5 5/8 inches by 1 inch. And then I'm going to take my punch. It's all the way across the room. I put it away yesterday. This is the Banner's Pick-a-Punch. And we're just going to punch both ends with the banner punch. And I must have cut this just beyond 1 inch, but it should be fine. Whenever I cut up a piece of paper, this one was just a tiny bit bigger than 1 inch. So you can still feed it in there. It just doesn't quite fit in the slot. Okay, so this piece should straddle or go right across your card front all the way to the end. And what I did to adhere this, I know this ruler, what's the width of my ruler? This is the width of my ruler. It is 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to glue this just a little bit above there. You could also make yourself a mark. I want to have this centered across here. So you can make yourself a mark at the 2 1/8 inch mark on both sides to help you center it. But I found with my ruler, if I just put it down here on the end and just go about 1/8 of an inch above that, it just works out perfectly. And then I don't have to, I know that it's going to be straight if it's straight on the ruler. So just going to maneuver it and press it down. Okay. All right. I hope I chose good colors. I was kind of guessing last night. Ooh, yeah, look at that. I think that pops really nicely. Okay, so now I can go ahead and glue this piece down. And then we need to build our sailboat. So this just goes centered on here. And you might note that I have switched up my measurements a little bit from the original card. And I will put all of those measurements on my blog post in the directions area. It's close to the supply list if you go to my blog post. And my link to my blog post is in the description of this video. So doesn't that look pretty already, even without the sailboat? So let's now create the sailboat. So there's two ways that I think that is easiest to go about building the sailboat. And I'm trying to think if we should maybe make the sailboat in a different color today. I don't know. We could do it in fresh freesia if we wanted to, but maybe I'll just stick with my original. Hey, I've got one already punched out. Let's have a look and see what it looks like. And you can tell me if you want me to do it in fresh freesia, which is like a light purple, or if I should do it in my original color so I have some contrast. So here I've already got one punched out, and we can kind of just see what that would look like. But we could do one in see, I think that will be a nice contrast, but maybe we could try one in fresh freesia and then we can pop it out and see what it looks like. So that's kind of what it would look like if it were with pale papaya. And then fresh freesia is this color. I don't know if that would be just not enough contrast on there, but you can let me know. We'll either do the sailboat in pale papaya or fresh freesia. Okay, so let me show you how I stamp the sailboat. So I've got some different widths of paper here. So if you're doing it on here, you can take your sailboat, your skinny sail. I'm going to grab fresh freesia. That way we can contrast it. Okay. Fresh freesia. We're going to stamp. Let's move these in the way. This piece measures. It measures 1 inch in width. And I'll just stamp this right up at the top. And then I'm going to open this up, and you can see how the skinny piece will fit in here. And that way you're not punching out a big piece of cardstock, because if I used a bigger piece of cardstock, it would get ruined anyway by all of these punch shapes. So I'm just going to put that skinny piece in, center it, and then punch it like that. You know what? I'm thinking that there is another way to do this, but I will see if I can think of the third way and see if we can still do that on camera, if I can figure out how to do it. Okay, then we're going to do the second sail, and this piece I cut to about 1.5 inches in width. And then I'm just going to stamp this and put this up at the top. And you can see how I could do another sail on this piece, and this one will be the same thing. You'll be able to punch yourself another sail out of it if you make it long enough. And then I'm going to stick this piece in here and punch it. Okay. So, and then there's the other side that I can use again. And then this piece right here is, I think it's 1.5 inches. No, 1 3/4 inches. And this time I'm going to use, I broke my ink pad. I dropped it the other day, and a little plastic piece broke off of it. So now I have to fit it back in here. There we go. I hate it when I drop things. Hardwood floors. Okay, so turn this around, And I've got my smoky slate ink pad here, and I'm just gonna stamp this on here. And then we're gonna feed this in this way. So we are gonna end up losing a bit of cardstock here. And we'll go ahead and punch this. Okay. All right, so we've got our 3 little pieces for a sailboat now. And I'm just gonna clean these off real quick off camera on my chamois. Just because we're gonna handle them, and I'm going to now do this stamping using the Stamparatus so I can show you a different way to do it. So those are the pieces I need, and we're going to do this one more time. Let me show you how to set this up on the Stamparatus. Say you're going to be doing a lot of these sailboats, so this will be, if you're going to do a lot, you've got your Stamparatus. It comes with these 2 plates. It comes with some magnets. I wrapped my magnet with some fancy colored duct tape. This helps them not smash together because these magnets are really strong, and when they, there's 2 of them when you get your Stamparatus, and if they smash together, sometimes they will break. This helps them from breaking, and then it also helps with picking them up because you've got a little piece to grab onto. Okay, so let me show you how I set this up to do stamping on the Stamparatus. I'm going to take this piece of cardstock. I'm using a scrap piece. This is smoky slate. Use whatever color you want. I suggest a light color so that it contrasts with your black foam mat. And I'm just going to punch in on one side here and just punch this out. These little pieces I'm going to actually throw out. We want this negative space right here. And I was punching like this, okay, with the metal piece up, okay? So you want to make sure that that's the arrangement on here so it is the right way. If you notice your stamps aren't fitting in properly, you've got this piece turned around the wrong way. So I'm going to try and have this piece over here closer to this corner right here. If you put your punch shape way up here, it's harder to get a good stamped image because when this comes in, you don't have as much pressure right on the corner. So I'm having it out here a little bit more. And so first we're going to take our sail pieces, we'll take them off the blocks, and I'm going to fit them into the negative. Put your little magnet down, and you should be able to just kind of maneuver them into place. You'll probably see like a, best to stand up so you have a bird's eye view, and you're just gonna feed them in. See that you can see there's a slightly darker black line around the edge when you feed them in to the hole. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to take my clear plate and pick them up like this. Okay, so now what I can do is I can take a piece of basic white cardstock, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to punch out all 3 of these shapes at once. Set those aside. Now I can feed these in to my negative like that. And this is why I told you to choose a light color cardstock, but don't choose white because that way you can kind of see the contrast. And then I'm going to take, this time I'm going to take Pale Papaya. I cleaned off my stamps. So I'm just going to take Pale Papaya and ink up these stamps. And then we're going to stamp on here, and with any luck we'll be pretty centered. And you know what, we might need to make a little bit of an adjustment for the next stamping, but hopefully we'll be good. All right, lift off. Whoa, look at that. Isn't that cool? So we've got the two sail pieces, which we can stamp both at the same time because they are the same color. And then I'm just going to take this plate off for a moment, and I'm going to come in with my second plate, and we're going to do the same thing with the main body of the sailboat. We're just going to pop this in to the space and make sure it's centered. It wants to stick to my fingers a little bit. All right, I'm just being nitpicky. Once you've got this positioned though, the cool thing is that you won't have to position it again. So I hope I got pretty close to centering that piece. Then I'm going to take, this was what I punched out earlier, and we'll fit this back into the negative space. Okay, and then we're going to take our smoky slate and ink this piece up. And then fingers crossed, I'll stamp this and pull this off. Oh, I did a pretty good job on that. So now the cool thing is that I can keep this negative piece in my stamp set case. So if I want to do more in the future, these will be this will be ready to go. And then each time I just need to position the stamps so that they are centered in the piece and they will be ready to go. All right. I think there is a third way, but I can't wrap my brain around it right now. And I think that would actually, okay, I will show you the third way. The third way is a little different. Let me clean off my stamps a little bit here. Okay, where'd my stamps go? Okay, the third way. This works better when you're going to be using all the same color for all three pieces. So where did I throw this piece? Okay, so we've got this piece, and you know what? I'm going to use, I need a darker piece. I'm going to just use the foam mat from here, or you can use a black piece of cardstock. You just need something that's a little darker for contrast. And what I'm going to do is you want to feed in all of your pieces into here. Okay. And this will just take a moment because you have to make sure that you've got all three pieces lined up and you don't touch any of them. And okay, so now you need a block. This is a D block. I've got them all lined up in my punched negative shape, and I'm just going to press down. And now I have all these pieces lined up. So now I'm going to take yet another piece of cardstock. Here is one that I tried earlier for my Stamparatus, but I didn't like the white because then I was feeding the white pieces in and they were hard to see. So I'm going to be using this as for punching. So let's just say that now I wanted to go ahead and stamp this. So these are all going to be in the same color. So now I can turn this around. Ah! I'll turn this around like that. Okay, and I'm going to stamp this down here in the corner. And let me clean off my ink. Okay, there we go. All right, because I've got this positioned on the stamp, now I can use my punch. Oh, shoot. Did I turn this the wrong way? Okay. Yeah, I punched it, I stamped it the wrong way. So it's good, except I think I turned, did I turn it around the wrong way, my negative piece? I might have done that. Let's see. No, I think it's the right way. Okay, I did do it the right way. I think I just did it on the wrong spot. So have a look at your punch and see how it's turned. And you see how the sail is down here, right here, and this one's here, and this one's here. So you want to turn your punch the same way. Okay. It's just about positioning it on the paper. So I'm going to stamp it right here. And now I'm going to position it in here. And you can see how, because I lined it up on the stamp, all of those pieces are now going to align. The only bad thing about this particular technique is that my sailboat is now also stamped in this color, pale papaya. So this really works well if you want all three to be the same color. But if you want a contrasting color, you're either going to have to do some creative inking, either with markers or ink up the stamps with markers, or you're just going to have to live with all of them being the same color. But those are the three different ways that I can think of to stamp them and make better use of your paper and or your stamping time. I think out of all the methods, if I was doing a lot of them, I would probably do the Stamparatus method. If I was only making 2 cards, I would probably use the strip method because getting the Stamparatus out and positioned, that takes a little bit of time. So I would probably use just cutting up different strips and then feeding them in and punching them individually. Okay, I hope that was helpful and not confusing. So let's have a look. Let's go back to the card. And we've got this base of my sailboat. And you know what? I'm just going to go in and I'm going to just go ahead and glue this piece down because I know that I'm going to want this smoky slate color. This is the color that didn't change. So I'm going to glue this down near the bottom, and I want it to be a little bit towards the left so it doesn't look so centered. Okay. And then we can choose what color we're going to use. So here is the Fresh Freesia sailboat. That's kind of a really very mellow sort of card. Or we can do some contrasting, and we could do the Pale Papaya card. Pale Papaya sailboat. So what do you think? Shall we do Fresh Freesia or shall we do Pale Papaya? Let me know in the comments. And I will choose one or the other. This one's Pale Papaya, and then this one is Fresh Freesia. All right. Okay, I've got one for Pale Papaya. I'll give you a second to think that through. And then in the meantime, I'm going to add some champagne jewels to the card, and I'm just going to use the 3 different sizes. So I'm going to put one here underneath my greeting. I'm going to use a smaller one up here. And then I'm going to use one of the larger ones down here. Okay, and that just kind of gives it just a little bit of pop, and most of the patterns have a bit of the pale papaya. Okay, I've got 2 for pale papaya, so let's do pale papaya. I think it provides more contrast. So what I'm going to do with these, I'm not going to glue them, I'm going to put dimensionals on the back. So I've got some mini dimensionals, and these are great because they're a little smaller than the regular dimensional. They're about 1/4 of the size of a regular dimensional. Here, I'll just show you. Can you see the size difference? They're just a little bit smaller, and they're helpful for those tinier little pieces. So now I'm just going to remove the backing, and we'll just add this. I want a little bit of separation between the bottom of the boat, and I just want it kind of touching the pole. When you look at images of sailboats online, like actual images, they're usually not, one sail is usually really colorful and the other one is white. But guess what? This is a card, so we can use our creativity and do them in whatever color we want. So that's the cool thing about using art. And there is the card. Ta-da! All right, I want to bring in the 2 other cards so we can see all 3 of them. And see, each one of these has a different background paper, and there are several more papers in this collection that do have a horizon in them that would work. And I just pulled out colors, and maybe they weren't even exact colors because this color, Starry Sky, wasn't actually listed as a paper or a color in the New Horizons paper. We did not have it this color at the beginning of the year, but I think it actually looks really nice. So do you like the Starry Sky, Evening Evergreen, or Rich Razzleberry card? So again, Starry Sky, Rich Razzleberry, and Evening Evergreen. And which one do you like better? You know, truly, they all kind of look fabulous. I think they all have a different sort of look to them with a different background paper. But just choosing a dark card base, slightly lighter color in the same hue, so green and green, and this one's kind of purpley and purpley. This one's also kind of a little bluish purple, so this one has a bit more red in it, and this one has a little bit more blue in it. So that's how they turned out. I hope you'll like them. And look, they weren't really that hard to make, right? So let me go back into my other camera. Ugh. My hair, when I bend over, it starts to like look lumpy. All right. Okay. Karen says she loves them all. That's great. Amy says she loves Starry Sky. Well, I'm glad you like them. Let me go and just say hello to all of you. First of all, if you're new to my videos, please, if this is on YouTube later on, you can like it on Facebook or like it on YouTube and subscribe to my channel once it's over on YouTube. I do this every single week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And all the products that I use today are available in my Stampin' Up! Store. You can find the links to all the products down below in the description of this video. And you can also find them over on my blog. On my blog, I have photos of the cards, and I have the photo supply list, which is a little easier to follow. I also have the cutting directions for the card, so you don't have to write down the dimensions if you want to make the exact same card. They are all over on my blog for you to have. Every month I have a host code, and if you use this host code to order from me, you can get rewarded. The first reward, as long as your order is over $15, you're going to get a free tutorial from me. And if your order is over $50, then you're going to get my host code gift of the month. And this month, where are they? Will be sending you in June these beautiful heart pearls. This host code is good for the entire month of May, and just as long as you spend $50 with me using the host code, sometime during May 2022, in June, I will send you these fabulous heart pearls. And these are really cool because you can also color them with alcohol markers. We have our Stamp and Blends alcohol markers, so you can make these little pearls in whatever color you want. Okay, let's say hello to everyone this morning. Good morning, Ellie. Ellie's in upstate New York. Good morning, Karen from sunny New Jersey. We have sunny weather here too today. It is quite a lovely day. And it was, I'm trying to do the conversion, 14 Celsius this morning, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it was a lovely morning, a little brisk wind, but it was wonderful for walking. Good morning, Janine. Good morning, Cindy from Everett, Washington. And you have sun today. That's probably a happy thing for Washington State. She says, thank you for my story about my dad. My dad was a wonderful guy, and I wish we could have had more years with him, but I have very fond memories of him. He really did, he did a good job in raising me, but he was one of those people that you didn't spend too much time on the emotion. He'd probably be aghast that I'm all emotional now. He grew up with 4 brothers. So he wasn't used to having, girls around or sisters and their emotions and stuff. So he would tell us to pull ourselves together and to, put on a brave face and go forward. And sometimes I feel we need that a little bit. And of course, I'm not saying that that works for everyone. And of course, I have been emotional myself, but sometimes it's good to kind of say, okay, I've had these emotions, and now I need to move forward because there are tough parts in life, and we can't just keep dwelling on the emotions. And so my dad was really good at that, and so sometimes he gave me a little kick to, not literally, figuratively, but a little push to, just move forward and get myself out of that little rut. So I really appreciate that a lot more now than I did at the time, because at the time I was like, my daddy doesn't understand me. But now I'm like, well, okay, yeah, maybe I did need a little push of getting out of the rut. So it's neat how you can reflect back and think about all those things that happened while you were growing up and appreciate them a whole lot more now than you did way back then, and you took your parents for granted. But anyway, my mom, I talk to my mom every night. Still, my mom is still alive, and she watches my videos too. I hope I'm not going to make her emotional when she watches this today, but it's kind of fun to share these videos with her every day. She's a subscriber on my email list, so hi, Mom. I hope she sees this later today. Okay, I digress. Let's move on. Janine said, I ordered that bundle and it's coming tomorrow. Oh, that's kind of fun. I'm glad that hopefully I inspired you today with some cards. Good morning, Amy from Deer Park, Washington. Amy's a team member. Amy, I hope you're feeling better today. Karen says she loves the Sailboat on that Designer Series paper. It is a great paper to have if you have the Sailboat set, so make sure that you get it before it retires. Um, okay, so Ellie asks a good question. Does the Stamparatus come with two plates? Yes, it does. It comes with two plates because there's actually two places to hinge onto the. I'm gonna bring my camera. So there's two places where you can hinge on the Stamparatus. So it has like a top and a bottom. You have to make sure they're down. You can't close them completely when they're like this. So what I do is I just pull this one out and I just store them like this. But one of them can stay hinged in place when you close it up. The other one you just kind of lay on top. But when they're like this, you have to put them in straight up and down and pull them out up and down. But yeah, it comes with two plates, and it's nice because that way you can put different stamps on each plate, or you can even flip the plates and use the back side. But because of where my thing was positioned this time, and it wasn't on a it was very close together, I think flipping it wouldn't have worked so well this time, so that's why I used both plates. But yes, it does come with two plates, and it comes with a little foam mat insert, and that foam mat insert is for your photopolymer stamps. And if you're stamping with rubber stamps, you take the foam mat out so that it's the right height. Rubber stamps are a little bit thicker, so you don't need that foam mat underneath. Okay. Oh, and Janine answered your question too, but now I've done a demonstration too. I should read further. Ellie said, wonderful techniques. Thank you. I'm glad I could show the 3 different ways to stamp and punch out the sailboat, just so you had an idea, whatever you want to do. All right. Amy says she likes my top. Oh, I have to show you. Look how I match so well today. This one matches pretty well. And this one, look at that. Pretty nice, huh? The nice matching colors. I planned it. This is my, I wish this was available. This is not a Stampin' Up! Product, but it's actually Cuddle Duds. If you know that company, I love Cuddle Duds because they're so soft. And since it's cold here, a good chunk of the year, I do like to be warm and cozy. All right, guys, I hope you have a great week. Remember, I go live Fridays on my YouTube channel at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please join me then. On Fridays, I do either a fancy fold card or a 3D project. So make sure you look at that, join me, or watch the replay afterwards. I hope you guys have a great week. Bye for now.